Hello, Gary Crowley here with DoItYourselfJointPainRelief.com, and I'm here today to talk to you about a natural cure for joint pain. And while there are lots of natural remedies for joint pain out there, what I want to show you today or make you aware of today is that there's one approach that is highly effective on about 95% of joint pain. It's free and you can do it yourself. And at the website DoItYourselfJointPainRelief.com, basically for every single joint in your body, I give you a little protocol that you can do yourself that odds are can help you fix yourself and get rid of your own pain. So a natural cure for joint pain that you can do yourself requires that you have a little understanding of, very basic understanding of a joint. And most joint pain is, I'd say 95% of joint pain, is caused from the shortening and tightening of tissue around a joint. So most joints, if you have two bones that are coming together to form a joint, most joints are just two bones coming together with some soft tissue holding them in place, and then when your muscles flex and move, those bones can move within that joint without any pain. If you have inappropriately tight tissue, either compressing that joint so it kind of can't move at all, maybe like a frozen shoulder, or you have some muscle tissue torquing that joint or one of those bones out of position, then the joint can't move well either. So what I show you at the website is basically how to undo the three main causes of joint pain with your own hands. So let's take a common form of joint pain, say elbow pain, and a lot of my clients come to me. They say, oh, my elbow hurts here when I use it, or it hurts here when I use it. Now, if they're a tennis player, I tell them if it hurts here, it means they're hitting their backhand late, and if it hurts here, it means they're hitting their forehand late. But for you, but even for them, what I then have to do is I will go usually pretty immediately to release their tricep muscles, because most of the time when it hurts here, a good percentage of the time, it's because your triceps are tight. And the bellies of these muscles basically become these tendons in here. And when they get tight, they just yank on the attachment. And so a lot of people come to me and they say they've been told by a very well-intended professional out there that they have arthritis, in their elbow. And I often joke with them that yes, they do have arthritis, because arthritis basically is... arthron is Greek for joint, and itis is Latin for inflammation. So your doctor or whoever else has just told you in Greek and Latin that you have an inflamed joint, which you kind of already knew. The important thing to know is the cause of that inflamed joint. So if you release that muscle by doing what I teach you on the website, on the techniques page of my website, there's a whole thing where I show you either the press, hold, move technique, where you press on the tender tissue, which means it's tight, force it to function, and it tends to release, and that's a very quick way to just fix your elbow. Or the press, pull, release technique, where you press again on a tender spot and kind of, like it's clay, stretch it like it's saran wrap or something, not massaging it, because massaging doesn't allow your brain to really recalibrate the settings on this muscle tissue. So for step one for releasing joint pain by yourself is to release the belly of the muscle where it's yanking on the attachment of the joint. Step two is to release the nerves maybe that are being negatively affected that run down to that joint. So if you release the belly of that muscle and it's not completely gone, you may find that some of these muscles that come out of your spine, you basically from your 5th cervical nerve to your 8th cervical nerve are the nerves that basically innervate your arm. So sometimes if this is really tight because you've been mousing too much, been on the computer too much, you've been driving too much, sometimes this can yank on the nerves that run down here, and you get back here, you find a tender spot, you go, that's a tender spot, and you release that with a press, hold, move, or a press, pull, release, and that elbow pain suddenly disappears. Lastly, the third way to release a joint is by making sure the whole joint, all the tissue in that joint is balanced. So sometimes it can be hurting here, but these really aren't the big player. Sometimes it's some of these other muscles around here. It could be there's a muscle here called your brachioradialis that goes across your elbow joint. And if you've been out gardening a lot and you hadn't been gardening much before that, this could get really tight and kind of compress that joint. You go to use it, it doesn't feel right. So again, you just get in here, you do a press, pull, release. And again, if it's tender, you work on it. If it's not tender, you don't need to work on it. And or you do a press, hold, move. You just press in there where it's tender, make it move. And then you test your elbow and voila. Usually, again, 95% of the time for your elbow or for any of these other joints in the body, if you release the belly of the tight muscle for the attachment where it hurts, or you release basically the nerve pathway, you might find, the nerves getting yanked on, kind of like a garden hose getting kinked, and you feel the pain elsewhere, but the cause is up here. Or you just make sure this joint is all balanced, and suddenly when you release another muscle that yanks on that joint, your joint pain goes away. So these 3 techniques I go over thoroughly on the techniques page of doityourselfjointpainrelief.com. I also, again, on the nav bar on the left of the website, there's a link for every single joint in your body. If you go to the sitemap link, I have additional techniques for every single joint in your body. And it's basically all free to you. And I just want all those millions of people out there who are in pain and really don't need to be able to fix themselves. So I hope this has been beneficial. I encourage you to visit the homepage where I cover this from a slightly different angle, and then click on the joint that affects you after you maybe review some techniques a little bit. They're very simple techniques. You can learn them literally in a minute, and then you can go about setting yourself and your friends and family free from pain. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing how it goes. Thanks.